Okay, everyone, it's time to quiet down. Let's get into our seats. Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Okay. Do you guys remember what happened yesterday? Yes? Okay. Do you remember the topic we talked about yesterday and what I taught about? I taught about percentage and benefits. What's the word that describes those? That word is commission, right? Right. Okay. Well, last night's homework, when I was looking over it, I noticed that you guys weren't really understanding what commission was, and you still were having some struggles with that. So, the homework last night, when I was looking over it, it was not very good. That's fine. Maybe I didn't teach it well. So, I'm going to reteach it today. I'm going to reteach the subject of commission. So, I think it would be a good idea for you guys to have a pen and paper out to take notes, because yesterday there was no note taking and you forgot your work, or when you were doing your homework, you must have forgotten what I talked about. So, oh, there's a question. You need a paper to borrow? Okay. Why don't you ask the person sitting next to you? Why don't you ask Bill if he could give you a paper for today, and you can borrow his paper. Okay, thank you, Bill. Okay. You all need to be responsible and bring your own pieces of paper and pencils. Maybe tell your parents to buy you some so that you can bring it with you every day. I don't want to have to continuously have you guys ask to borrow other people's papers. You need to bring your own paper from now on, okay? All right. So I'm going to reteach the topic of commission today. So what does commission mean? Well, that's what I'm going to explain again. Do you remember the man named, let's name him Bob. If Bob were to sell houses for his job, does anybody know what a person who sells houses is called? Oh, your mom sells houses. That's good. Anything else? Anyone else? Okay, well, that person who sells houses is typically called a real estate agent. And that means that they sell houses for their job. So let's say I want to sell my house. So at my house, a real estate agent would put a for sale sign in my front lawn. And they would stick it into the ground. And the reason that they do that is so that if people are driving around, they would see the for sale sign because maybe they would want to buy it. So the realtor, the real estate agent, how do they earn their money? Well, I'm going to explain that. So let's say I sell my house for $10,000. Wow, that's pretty cheap, right? Yeah, that's really cheap. Okay, so let's say I successfully sell my house. And the couple who buys my house is charged $10,000. And they write a check for $10,000 and they give it to the realtor. So the realtor takes the check, and do they keep the full 10,000? No, they do not keep the full 10,000. They keep a portion of that $10,000 and I keep the rest. So let's say they charge me 3% to be their real estate agent, and my house was worth $10,000. I don't keep the full $10,000. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm wrong. They don't keep the full $10,000. They make 3% of that $10,000. And whatever is left after they take their 3% is mine. And that is what is called their commission. So let's figure out how much 3% of 10,000 is. So how much money is that? So we need to figure that out. So 3%, we would have to move the decimal point to make it 0.03. And so how much does that come to? That would become $300 that they earn. And that's the percent of commission that they make. They don't keep the 10,000, they keep 3% of that 10,000, and that is their commission. So they keep $10,000 of the 10,000. That's not bad. And that is what commission is. Here's another example of commission. Let's say when you guys are growing up, if you become a server or a waiter at a restaurant, understand that when you're a waiter, you would take care of the people who occupy a table in your area. And let's say they order hamburgers and French fries, and you write down their order, and then you bring back the food with you. And if you supplied good service and you did your job well, you would earn a tip. Maybe it would be, typically it's 20% of your bill. So let's say that their total bill is $10. I pay that person $10, but they don't keep it. That $10 goes to their boss. And then they keep 20%, which is their tip, which means I would give them $2. So they would keep the $2. And the food that I paid for, I would give that full $10 to their boss, and then they would keep $2 on top of that. So that here's another example. That was just another example of commission. Do you guys know what type of people and what type of jobs would get commission? Well, there's car salesmen. They make commission off of every sale. Let's say there is makeup who would come to your house to try and sell mascara or lipstick or any type of makeup, and they would earn a percent of what you buy. Waiter or waitresses, they make a percentage of their total as a tip. So that you can see the variety, and that is what commission is. Sometimes they have what we like to call a base salary. And that means that they would have a standard amount of money that they would make every week. And then on top of that, they would make, let's say, 20%. So they would have their base salary and 20%. So they sell a bunch of things and they would make 20% off each sale. And then that would become that would be added on top of their base salary. That is another example of commission. They would keep a percentage. So tonight's homework, you're going to you're going to have the same homework of commission today, and tomorrow you will have a test. I need you to know that. And if you still go home and you're doing the homework and you're still confused, you can come to class and ask questions, and I will answer them. Okay. So this time, why don't you guys start your homework now, please?